life's serendipitous. And I think life's serendipitous because clients almost tell me what I should talk about every time I give these luncheons. And why I say that is I've gotten a number of clients, things have happened to over the last year. And I told Mallory, I said, Mal, you know, we should bring this up in our client luncheons. So I want to talk a little about some financial planning stuff that's happened to my clients and some things that some people in this room should think about, okay? Number one, let's talk about wealth transfer. And the reason I'm bringing up wealth transfer is because I have 4 clients now. And a lot of my clients have been with me a long, long time, 20 plus years. I've known them, you know, Carlisle, I've known you, what, a long time. We were both a lot younger. You know, but what's interesting is I've got 4 clients that have passed in the last year that the family's in a lawsuit. The kids are suing. And that sucks. And you know, it's interesting because this isn't my mom, but my mom is 88 years old. But how many times have my mother said to me, oh, I'll let you kids fight over it. I'll let you kids fight over it. That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. And I'll tell you why that's a bad idea. Because the kids fight over it, and guess what happens? It goes to court, and guess what happens? Your family, your kids, that you spent your life thinking when I die, you kids are going to get together at Thanksgiving, end up never talking again. So what I want to talk about just for a second is some things we can do to avoid that. So some people in this room, if you want to come for an appointment. Okay, number one, give copies of wills and trusts to all your children. Just give it to them. Don't hide it. You know, if you're giving a little bit more to John than Mary, you know, explain it. Ask your children to give detailed lists of personal effects. Now, Mallory was asking, what is that, Dom? Well, Mallory has a sister, and maybe Grandma has a jewelry box that Mal wants, and maybe her sister has a painting. Put that in the will. List that out in the will. Put into all transfer documents a non-contest clause. That means if one of the children to contest, you get written out. Boom. If you're going to take it, get written out. Later dated documents must be signed by all beneficiaries. This happened. I had a client, a really good client. He passed, left his wife a good sum of money. I mean, you know, really high, 6-7 figure. And she had 3 girls and 2 boys. Well, she lived into her mid-90s. And right about at the end of her life, of course, you know, dementia and getting old, one of her daughters went to an attorney with Mom, and they signed and redid all the documents to give all the estate, and it was a substantial estate. The house alone is worth several million. And the daughter said, Mom left me everything. Well, the kids are contesting. So putting something like this in the documents is not a bad idea, because as you know, or maybe not, when you write a new will or a trust, pretty much it always says anything prior to this date is null and void. This document supersedes any future documents. So by doing this, you could solve that problem. And you know, it's sad. It really is. And I would tell you, ladies and gentlemen, 95% of my clients and kids get along, and I meet with them. But it sucks when I see this. It really does. It's really ugly. List all your children as co-trustees. Yeah, I know that's hard. I know. I'm the trustee of my mom's estate, but my brother and my sisters, we get along great. And I'm just in the business, so my mom, I handle her money. But the point is that, you know, if you have everybody as a co-trustee, then you all agree. And that's good. Transparency and communication. So if you want to come in. We'll sit down and talk about it. It's something that I think should be done. The other thing I want to bring out in the financial planning section is that a lot of my clients have trusts, and that's great. But here's what happens. Attorney writes a trust. He gives you this really nice binder, you know, with a check for about $2 to $5 grand. You know, nice, about this thick, and thank you very much. But the problem is there's not a lot of communication, in my experience. They don't fund it. Upon passing, what do the kids do? The kids go to this document, they look at the name of the attorney, and they call the attorney. And then the client's kid come to me and said, yeah, I just spent $5,000 on settling my mom's estate. And I'm like, that's not why you had a trust. You had a trust to avoid those costs. Well, if you don't fund the trust, make an appointment. Let's make sure the funds are trust. What type of trust? Do you have 2 split families? Do you have a Q-tip provision? Maybe there's your charitable trust that makes sense to avoid capital gains tax on large appreciated properties. Is it fully funded? Is everything labeled correctly? Is all real estate quitclaimed into the trust document? All assets outside the trust or will should be labeled POD or TOD. That is allowed in the state of Colorado. Detailed instructions to your children's step-by-step handling. This should be a simple process. And it's a nightmare for anybody that didn't go through this process. So all I'm saying is, come in and see me, and we can make sure that everything is where it should be.